Welcome to this physics trial question. We start with number 1. So it says that a projectile is released with a speed u at an angle theta to the horizontal. With the aid of a diagram, show that the time of flight is equal to 2u sine theta over g. I've always mentioned that give attention to topics that have to do with motion, linear motion, projectile motion, and so on. So you would have to first of all draw a diagram and prove this formula. So the second question, list 3 situations in which polarized glasses are used. So you need to list situations where polarized glasses are used. And the third question has to do with, this is what a ray of light is incident on an air to glass boundary at an angle of theta. If the angle between the partially reflected ray and the refracted ray is 90 degrees, calculate the angle given theta. The refractive index is 1.54. So that's a question on light. Then question 4 is a mass of 11 kilograms suspended from a rigid support by an aluminium wire of length 2 meters. If you've been following my channel, I've always mentioned this topic as well, properties of matter, which has to do with the calculation of Young modulus. Question 5 here has to do with temperature. Explain the effect of temperature on the surface of a liquid. Yes, so you know that temperature increases the kinetic energy of the liquid, and then this would reduce the surface tension of the liquid. Explain the term diffusion, and this diffusion is not the one in biology but the one in physics, which has to do with the movement of gases. Then give one reason why the rate of diffusion in gases is higher than in liquids at the same temperature. So the C says state the effect of density on the rate of diffusion. So whether it increases it or higher density increases it or decreases it. Then question 7 has to do with electroplating, electricity. Question 7 says in electroplating an iron spoon with gold, state which material should be the anode, the cathode, and then the electrolyte. Question 8 has to do with, just mention the principle upon which the lightning in fluorescent tubes operates. Then B says list 2 factors on which the color of light from a fluorescent tube depend. If you've been following my channel as well, question 8 is a topic you would always expect in elective physics, atomic physics and then nuclear physics. Those are the last 2 topics in the textbook, and you should always expect. Just master them and then you are good to go. Now question 9 is asking you to distinguish between metals, insulators and semiconductors in terms of band theory. So anything you say outside band theory will not be awarded marks. 10 says explain why conductivity of an elemental semiconductor increases when it's doped with either a group 3 or group 8. Just be brief and then answer. Then question number 11 for all candidates. This is a momentum question. So this question more has to do with proving than even solving or calculating anything. Then question 11 is just 2 forces 20 Newton, 15 Newton act on a point to each other at an angle of 120 degrees. Draw a force diagram and calculate the magnitude and direction of the resultant force. Then question 12 has to do with heat. List 3 effects of heat on matter. Then explain why the following observations. Question 12 is a practical question, and we are dealing with elective physics. These are some of the things you need to master. When studying physics, you need to think deeply about the topic rather than just focusing on memorizing. You would always be in trouble. A thick glass cap cracks when boiling water is poured into it, but the same cap would not crack when immersed in a bath of cold water, which is then heated to a boiling point. Then the II says a cat runs with difficulty on a highly polished floor. That has to do with friction. And question 12C, state the pressure law. Then question 12CII, a bottle is corked when the air in it is 20 degrees Celsius and 76 centimeters of mercury. The bottle is heated until the pressure is increased by 69 centimeters of mercury. Calculate the final temperature of air in degrees Celsius. state the laws of reflection. And with the aid of a diagram, show how a convex mirror forms a virtual image. And with this question, after the drawing of how objects are formed on a convex or concave mirror, then the 13ii, a concave mirror of focal length 10 centimeters, forms an erect image at a distance of 20 centimeters from the mirror. Calculate the object distance. Then question 13c also has to do with calculation in light. A transparent glass prism of height 8 centimeters has a black spot inside it. When viewed vertically from the top, the spot appears 4 centimeters deep and 1.82 centimeters deep when a prism is inverted. So real depth and apparent depth. Calculate the position of the black spot from the first observation and calculate the refractive index of the glass. Question 14. Explain the following observations in relation to static electricity. In earthing, a charged conductor by touching, electrons instead of photons flow into or out of the earth. And the II says that the direct current cannot pass through a parallel plate capacitor. I've already mentioned that topics like this or questions like this, it really has to do with how you think about the topic than is memorizing. Then the B says state two differences between electric potential and electric field intensity. Then question 14c, that has to do with some definitions. What is a shunt, supply, and pure capacitive circuit? Then the D has to do with this is an alternating signal V equals 25 sine 100 pi t is applied to a pure capacitive circuit. The root mean square current through the circuit is 50 milliampere. Calculate the capacitive reactance and capacitance. Question 15 again. Your nuclear physics and your atomic physics, if you don't know them, just stop writing the paper and go and learn them, because you always get them. And if you're a science student with your little knowledge in chemistry and radioactivity, you can go for this even if you're in the first year or second year. You don't need to get there before you learn it. It's more of a continuation of what you did in chemistry. Click on the image by my channel name to see more videos which I make.